It's spinning. I am live. All right. Hey everyone. Hey Krystal. So,
Hello.
hey. So cool to see you here in Spaceland.
I know,
Um,
right? This is fun.
yeah. So we just decided to go live because I've just started this new plant-based culinary nutrition membership, and
So
Krystal is
exciting.
one of my first members.
I'm so excited. I'm super, super thrilled and excited about that.
Oh, that's really cool. I know, like,
I have
as
lots of
I've been going
questions.
through my journey, we've like kind of been friends throughout this whole period, and I know you've kind of been tiptoeing a little bit curiously into what are you doing, why are you doing it, why this? Hey, I got a question about this. So this kind of like makes it a little bit more, I don't know, like formalized maybe, and hopefully help you make more progress, right? And
Oh,
get into the whole
100%.
plant-based world.
For sure. I'm excited. So can I ask you, is it okay if we ask you a couple of questions? And those who are watching right now, I'm not sure if we're able to see your comments here. Michelle, are we going to be able to see people's comments and see
Yes, I
if
think
anybody
so.
has questions coming in?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I'm on StreamYard here, so I see that there is a comment section down below. I don't really see anything right now, so maybe if someone joins us, if they're here watching, they can say hello so that I see something and I know that someone is watching.
This is going to be a
So,
casual conversation, right? So if you will have a question about plant-based, if you have a question about anything to do with plant-based eating, now is the time to ask those questions. And Michelle is going to be, and I will be here. I'm not the expert in plant-based, but I'm learning
the
as
voice
well.
expert.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're here, let us know and join in the conversation. This is casual. Michelle and I didn't really even plan very much here, but I'm sure we're going to get tons of great takeaways today in this short little live. All
Oh,
right,
thanks,
so
Crystal.
shall we get started? Because I do
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
bunch of questions that I'd love to learn more about, and I just want to dive into it. First of all, I'm pretty new to plant-based eating. I don't really consider myself I guess I am kind of plant-based. I don't eat meat, but I eat fish, and I do eat some dairy products, but I've cut out milk. So am I like a pescatarian? I guess that's the closest. Is that right?
There's, yeah, that's probably the closest. A pescatarian, vegetarian, we would probably say. There's so many labels out there, right? I mean, like vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, so many categories. We try to use language to understand what it is you really want to eat in food. It's just kind of crazy. I mean, plant based to me is, it started as a health movement, and it's all about just eating more plants because in the last, I don't know, 50, 60 years, really like my generation since I was born, that was the age of the TV dinners after World War II. It was the age when governments in the US and UK started pushing animal products on people, particularly the dairy industry. So, like a lot of stuff evolved to become around convenience. Women started going into the workforce, so it became like fast food. People weren't cooking at home. A lot of processed foods. Companies were trying to make things cheaper for families and more convenient. Fast food, McDonald's restaurants. So like plant-based really just kind of means like going back before that time and trying to get more plants on your plate. And then you also have nutritional studies coming into it now because we've got so much great science and evidence, what I call evidence-based nutrition, really showing that a plant-forward diet, or even if you can, 100% plant-based is the most nutritious, health-giving diet. But any place people can go to go from, say, 10, 20, 30% plants on their plate to maybe over that 50% mark up to 100, it's all what, everything helps, right? It's all in a continuum. It's not black or white. It's like, how much better into the gray zone can you get?
You mentioned just now about back in the day, during when they were I guess the advertising companies or companies, food industries were pushing the meat and as the convenient solution. So is that one of the misconceptions that you find about people wanting to go plant-based? Is plant-based is so inconvenient. It takes so long to prepare. How can you speak to that a little bit?
A little bit. I mean, there's all you can also say that about meat too, right? I mean, you can quickly fry up a hamburger and that's fast, right? But you can make a gourmet, meat-based meal like I don't know, like an Italian ossobuco or something that is like a stew braising for hours on the stove. So that can take a lot of time too. So there are some common misconceptions. Yeah, if you want to eat gourmet, anything takes a long time to do, right? But if you want to eat simple, grab an apple, steam some sweet potatoes or something. You can eat quickly. I mean, it's possible to do. So, and that's really what I want to focus on, though, too, is because people have this misconception. How do you actually make it convenient for our modern day life? And some of that involves meal prep and planning, and it's really just forethought. It's just taking that 15, 20 minutes on a Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning or something, thinking, what do I want to eat this week? And what could I spend maybe 1 hour, prepping a few dishes so I've got it in the refrigerator for a fast reheat or a convenient salad or, something that can kind of work into making one thing. That's kind of how I tend to cook is I'll make a few things up in bigger batches and then add to that and kind of rotate. Like, like one day I've got the sweet potato and that lasts 2-3 days, but then it's evolving into the rice that I make on the third day. So then that lasts another 2-3 days. So you kind of figure out how to mix and match.
So it seems like then it's if you want to switch to plant-based. Before we dive into that, I actually do want to go into a little bit more reasons why or somebody should or shouldn't switch to plant-based eating. And then I definitely want to dive into the forethought and that planning part. So first off, what are some of what's the top 3 reasons why a person should consider switching to plant-based eating?
Okay. Actually, there are 3 reasons that people do, that they're main reasons. It used to be thought of as in the vegan world, right? It's the vegans. It's the people who say, I don't want to kill animals or I don't want to harm animals. That used to be the primary driving reason that people didn't want to eat animals. But then you kind of also get into a lot of like, I always say Oreo cookies are vegan, right? But they're junk food. They're not healthy. You don't necessarily want to be an Oreo, Dorito eating vegan. Although sometimes Doritos aren't vegan, but that's a different story. So there's the not harming animals. But recently, because of all the science and the evidence, there's been this huge movement towards plant-based because of health reasons. People really want to switch to plant-based eating to limit, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, certain cancers. This is, Breast Awareness Month, and, breast cancer is probably mostly, about 90% caused by lifestyle choices, primarily food being one of the biggest drivers of it. Really only 5 to 10% is that hereditary BRCA gene that people have, that you read about or hear about. The rest is really lifestyle driven, and
Is it mostly food? Is it mostly animal products that contribute to that 95% that you mentioned?
In the food category, yes, but it's like a lot of the lifestyle things, it's about getting adequate exercise and sleep and having social connections and reduced stress. I mean, that kind of all enters into it. But food within that category is the biggest driver. And what they find out when you start listening to the experts and understanding the studies that are out there. But then to go back to your original question, the third reason that people are turning to more plant-based foods is because of the climate crisis and the environment. So people, are starting to learn that the animal agriculture industry, has an outsized influence on climate crisis, particularly with the methane that the cows, burp out. And then all of their waste, right? All of the waste that's coming from animal products is just incredibly wasteful. A lot of the studies show that the climate crisis is actually maybe up to about 40% caused by agricultural industry, with about 30% of it coming from animal agriculture.
So we're talking about animal like farming and just the upkeep of the animal itself and that industry contributing to the climate crisis. Now, can you? Yeah,
all of that.
go
The
ahead.
Amazon burning too. Like burning down the
Yes.
rainforest. Like it's because getting grazing land for cows. It's like we don't need that, or graze. Or even the land to grow the soy. Most of the soy that's produced is fed to animals. It's not for
Oh,
human
interesting.
consumption.
Interesting. So what would you say to some people who think, when somebody might say, oh, if I switch to plant-based, what's little me going to do? How am I going to be able to help the climate crisis? What would you say in response to that?
I think that that actually is the biggest misnomer, because that's actually where people can make the biggest impact is by switching their diet. There have been studies that actually show that can be a bigger influence than if you buy a Prius, or a, one of the, the
Tesla.
newer Tesla. Thank you. It's like 7:30 at night. Yeah, but they've actually shown that, because it's just more effective than if one person can reduce their meat consumption, say even just 2 meals a day. Eat, take your breakfast and lunch, do that plant-based, keep your dinner, with what you normally eat or something. But just reduction is kind of the key. We need to reduce. It just recently, I think is a couple days ago, the UK government came out talking about how they're actually, like they want to require the citizens to reduce animal consumption by 30%. But then a lot of the climate scientists are saying it actually needs to be like 89%.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean,
In
there's
order
like
for it to have an
different
impact, I
figures
guess,
out
right?
there, but some is better than none. Yeah. Yeah.
So those of us who are concerned about things like recycling and things like that should really highly consider, right, switching to a plant-based diet if you're truly concerned about the environment, climate, things like that. That
It
these are all
has a
very great
bigger impact. I
reasons.
mean, it's not that the other things don't have an impact, but it has a huge impact because it affects so many things, from the Amazon, to the animal farms, to, the cows belching, and the rivers and the streams taking in their waste. And, there's just like a whole domino effect. The trucking industry, the rail industry that needs to transport that meat. The airlines to transport that meat, right? Here in Hong Kong, 90% of our food is imported.
So true. I mean, all of these things connect, and I think it's important that we often don't think about that, right? We just think I'm hungry. I'm going to eat convenience. I'll deal with it tomorrow. Right? That's a very common thing, right? What are some of the most common reasons why a person would be resistant to switching to plant-based eating, and how can you help them, overcome that resistance?
Yeah, I, that's a tough one. That really is, because I think for anybody to do anything, they kind of have to be motivated, right? Like like I can't make. I'm not someone's mother. I can't really make them do something. So, but I think quietly presenting the facts and the figures, and just I don't know. I'm a fan of logic. I'm a fan of reason. I'm a fan of the light touch. Like just learn more about the issue, I guess. Like, don't go through the world with blinders on any issue, whether it's your food, your work, how you interact with your coworkers, don't how you raise your family. You want to learn, right? You want to be more informed. So same thing with eating and diet. Just get a little bit more informed. Connect with people, learn more.
What would you say to somebody who says, "Yeah, I like the idea of eating plant-based. I do want to do that, but it's just so hard because I really like my meat." What solutions can you have? What solutions are there that can replace that desire to eat meat?
Yeah. Well, again, it's knowledge. It's knowing that your taste buds change every 14 days. A lot of people get a sugar
What is that? What
addiction.
do you mean? What do you mean? Every 14 days, our taste buds change. Can you share a little bit
The
more about
cells
that?
in your mouth, your taste buds change. They go over. So like a lot of people, like, for doing this anti-sugar diet that some people go on. If you really don't eat processed sugar, or white sugar, or sugar in any form, besides the natural fruits, your taste buds will actually change. So that then when you eat a sweet fruit, it will actually taste sweeter to you. So
That's so
the
true.
problem is
That has happened to
the
me.
yeah, the food companies put in more and more and more, so you're sensitized to it, right? You have to eat that much more to taste the sweetness. And it's the same with salt and oil. You have to eat that much more to sense it. So once you kind of like desensitize yourself to it, you actually eat less. Then when you eat a little bit, you'll think, oh, that's a lot, that's enough.
So would you say
So
then that just based on that, then 14 days is the rule of thumb, or in terms of give it 14 days, give it a try for 14
I'd actually
days
go for
before.
21 just to
Okay.
make sure. Yeah, just people are different, right? I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
it's an average, right? Probably some are 14, some are 18, some are 10, so I'd say give it 21 days, really. And actually, I think that's an easy way to do it because you can do anything for 21 days if you put your mind to it, right? I mean, you anything, right? It's only 14 days. I can do this, right? So
Yeah.
just try it, just try.
And so
If
let's
you
talk a
really
little bit more. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you really want to, that's you have to have some slight motivation, right? To get over that hump.
I want to talk a little bit more about your the preparation part. We live in Hong Kong, very fast paced. People get up, they go, work, and then come back, and it's that convenience. But there's also that social aspect too. When you go out for dinners with friends, it's harder to maintain that plant plant-based eating even if you want to. So what are some of the pre-planning? What kind of plans should people be making over the weekends, and what does that look like in a way that's not going to scare somebody like me who is, I need things to be quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's changing. That's the good thing, right? If we were having this conversation even 10 years ago, it would be really like a desert and pretty impossible. Right now, David Young just opened the brand new Green Commons over in the Nexus building, which is being compared to like an Apple store in Hong Kong, right? It's like so beautiful, and it's like a grocery store, a couple of restaurants. So you need to maybe kind of plan a little bit. It's not every restaurant that will have, and that is totally plant-based, right? But there are other places that are integrating some of his Omni Pork brand or the Beyond Meat brand or the Huera chicken brand. So there's a lot of plant-based brands coming into the market that restaurants are bringing onto their menus so that you can have someone who wants a beef hamburger and someone who wants an Impossible Burger can kind of eat at the same table now. So that's a good thing, So yeah, I think pre-planning is probably part of it to do that. But I think we'll see in the next probably 1 to 3 years, it's going to become common. I mean, that's just my key takeaway when I'm reading about, US, Australia, UK, they're getting, Burger King's getting the Impossible Chicken Nugget type thing. The Beyond Meat is partnering up with McDonald's to do their chicken nugget thing. So everybody's starting to get into it, right? It's getting out there. So it's just taking a while for food manufacturers to find the places that can actually keep up with the demand. I think the biggest problem we're seeing is the demand, but the prices are coming down, which is good. A lot of these brands are achieving parity with their normal meat counterparts, so it's no longer so expensive because it's unique.
Probably much to the disappointment or of the meat industry, right?
Yes, they're worried. Yeah, I just was reading something on the news this afternoon that this think tank was finding out that the meat industry is quite worried about the alternative protein market because they are picking up such speed. It's a really hot industry.
I want to switch focus a little bit and talk about your membership. Is now, from what I understand, we're talking about convenience, and we know the reasons why we should go plant based, right? We also know some of the reasons why we might be resistant to it, right? Convenience. I don't know what to eat. Is it all just lettuce? you know
The
am I
biggest
not allowed?
misnomer.
I know I'm being funny, but am I not allowed to have coffee or like whatever? I'm not allowed to have milk ever, cake, so I kind of want to understand how your membership, is it Kitchen Tribe? Is that what it is?
The Kitchen Tribe, our Conscious Kitchens Kitchen Tribe. Yep.
The Kitchen Tribe, yes. How does
Yeah.
that come into play, and how can we use the membership to really start this lifestyle of plant-based eating?
Yeah, well, I have a success path, so I think that's one of the keys is I'm kind of looking for people along a path, 5 different stages, and looking to see what stage they're in. If they're kind of really a newbie and they don't know anything about it, they're kind of hungry for more information, right? So they kind of come into this membership as a newbie, and I take them along a success path to gradually change their diet. If that, some people can do it all at once. Dalip's good at kind of switching on a dime. He's very very good at making his mind up and this is where he's going to do something. But a lot of people need to ease into things and they need to understand it. Their brain kind of needs to catch up with their desire, right? So there's different ways to come in and say, as I was saying before, maybe your meat list before dinner. So maybe but I think that the way that I'll work with people is to try to help them understand what plant foods they like, help them kind of make a list, help them figure out how to look at new plant foods. I'm going to be doing 2 Zoom sessions every month that will be a little bit more focused around nutrition training so that they kind of get the understanding and the whys and know what kind of foods do what. And then we'll have pre-recorded content that does stuff around recipes or kitchen skills. Because I think it's all, again, as we talked about at the beginning of the conversation, going back into the kitchen. And if people are making food at home, they're naturally eating healthier because your home is not competing with the home across the street to make it tastier to make you come there, right? You're living there. You can make it as tasty as you want to make it, and we can do that. We can do that with acids like vinegars, citrus juices, spices, herbs. I don't think people take advantage of using spices and herbs as much as they could. If you think of even in Asian cuisine, how Vietnam and Thailand does, right? That they're kind of known for their herbs in their food, and that's what adds to a lot of the taste. So I want to try and bring some of that to teaching people how to work with these sides. We like pickles. Pickled onions to me are a cure-all for anything. You just put that on a baked potato and the baked potato is instantly yummy.
Pickled onions.
Pickled onions, yes, pickled onions. Sun-dried tomatoes. Oven-dried tomatoes are like this, sweet, a little bit tart, wonderful, like flavor bomb to put on top of your foods.
Oh, wow. I'm getting hungry just hearing you talk about that. No, you mentioned just now that there are 5 stages and one of them is a newbie. So would you say that this membership really is geared towards people who are new to plant-based eating and just are kind of like, I kind of know that I need to do this, I just don't know how? Or is this for people who are already on the path? I've already cut out a couple meat dishes and I just want to get, dive into it a little bit more. Who is this membership really, really for?
Yeah, I think it's the way it's going to be is it's mostly for people who are newbies because that seems to be mostly who I talk to and mostly what I find in Hong Kong. And seems to be where my audience is coming from to start with, at least. But the stages do kind of go along to an end stage where you're kind of like, proficient in the kitchen, able to pull up your own dishes and know how to flavor something, and you understand more about it. And maybe you're helping someone who's a newbie. But I think mostly it's a newbie or someone who's stepped into it a little bit. Like they're eating plant-based, but maybe they're eating Beyond Meat burgers all the time, and they want to know how to make a bean burger that's made from a whole food. Or I've recently experimented with making a pulled pork out of mushrooms, and people seem to really like that. So to learn how to make something out of a whole food that's not processed, that you're buying in a grocery store, because you can still buy processed food in a grocery store and make it at home, and you're better on the health continuum, but you're not as good as you could be. So it's kind of more for people at a little bit more the beginning end rather than someone who is a foodie, whole food nutty person that knows everything, I guess. Or it could be someone who doesn't really know the cooking skills. Maybe they know what they want to eat, but their breadth of cooking is not so wide, so they want to learn how to make more things at home.
That's really interesting. So hearing you talk about these stages, from what I now am gathering is that actually the end goal is not 100% be plant-based and be on this path, but it's actually giving you the option. It's actually having you know the skills, know the reasons why, know how to get into the kitchen and confidently make something that's really yummy and be able to make these choices. But at the end of the stage, correct me if I'm wrong, the end goal is if you want to go to plant-based 100%, then that's awesome. But that doesn't mean you're not successful. Is that kind of where I understand? Like the end game is for you to understand and to want to do it, and know the skills behind it, know the why, and also be confident in being able to have 100% plant-based diet, or some days, eat what you like, right? And have 3 times a week, because as you said, something is going to be better than nothing. You're going to notice some of the changes if you're doing it a little bit versus if you're doing it not at all. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. And part of it, to me, in not being, like the vegan world is so like you can never eat animals. It's very strict. But I find even, sometimes if I go out to eat, I like to think I'm whole food plant based, that I'm eating healthier plant based. But do I eat a Beyond Meat burger or Omni pork or something when I go out to a restaurant? Yeah, I do, because I want to try it. I want to know what other people who are new to plant based eating are eating. And I think, it's kind of like you're not going to kill yourself through one meal here or there. If I happen to go to a birthday party or something and someone has made a cake with eggs in it, I may have, a little bit of it, but I'm not gonna, I won't make it at home. I won't order it for myself, I guess is what I'm saying, is I'm not going to be kind of rude about it. So, and I think,
Yeah.
the goal is 90% or more. That's what a lot of the studies show, that, our bodies have the ability to heal from anything, right? So if you think about a newbie coming into the membership, they've been eating an omnivore diet, right? And they're going to change. So their body's going to get better and healthier. So if in a year or two they eat I don't know, a burger, a real burger, it's not going to like totally kill them, right? Like these diseases that are caused by our diets evolve over decades. It's the decades of having the high saturated fat in your bloodstream. It's not one meal.
I get
So
it.
your body
I see.
can heal from one meal. So,
Right.
do the best you
So
can. It's not perfect, right? It's about making progress.
I want to ask a question though. You mentioned just now, oh, this is it the vegan. There's connotations around that, the vegan world versus the plant-based world, but aren't they essentially the same thing, or are they very
No,
different?
they're
Can
very
you
different.
go
Yeah.
into that a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah, well, and maybe vary is a bad word, but they are different because a vegan is a little bit more of a philosophy. It's about kindness to animals. So really, if you're vegan, you don't want to wear leather. You
I
probably won't
see.
buy a car that has leather seats. You don't want to wear leather shoes. You don't want to eat honey, which maybe some vegetarians might, or other people might eat it. So vegan is really causing the least harm to animals as possible. I mean, I was just talking with someone over in India today, and there actually are some people who kind of look that they don't want to eat root vegetables because of the pulling out of the ground and maybe harming some of the animals in the ground.
Oh wow.
So
Okay,
people have
that's
different
fascinating.
ways of looking at it, but it's that is an extreme. I don't want to cause harm to another creature, and I'll figure out a way to eat that way. But as I'm saying, plant based is. I think it's more vegan for health, and it's about eating. I mean, you can be both. People can be both. But yeah, I
Understand. Yeah.
just try to make it better. Like let's make people healthier.
And the
I want
planet
people to be
healthier too.
healthier. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. What are some of the health benefits that people can actually notice the more they switch to from, say, 0% plant-based to 90% as they go on that continuum, as they go through your success path? What are some of the health benefits that they can expect to see?
Yeah, I think definitely losing weight. You will lose weight just because you're eating so much less fat. It's natural. You're going to probably eat about 25 to 40% less calories if you're strict about it. If you're eating like a whole food, so you've got the oil out of your diet and you've got the animal products out of your diet, you're going to eat about 25 to 40% less calories. Probably would be my guess. And that's what I've seen in studies. So yeah, you're losing weight. Your skin is better. I notice my skin is better. It's smoother. I don't get acne, here and there every once in a while. And I think better energy. I think you're going to feel a lot more mentally aware. That's a really weird thing to explain to people, but I definitely feel that I have more energy since I've been eating this way.
How long have you been eating this way? You're fully 100% plant-based, is that correct?
90%, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's 100% because I'm sure there's here, I cheat with the cookies a little bit. They've got some oil and stuff in it. I kind of have a sweet tooth. So the gokjai and Chinese New Year is my big downfall. I kind of eat those by the bags, but but It's probably been 2, 3 years. I mean, I actually went raw vegan back in 2008. It was, yeah, 2008 when I had fibroids. So I, at that time, was finding out a little bit more about eating more vegetarian or vegan, but I didn't really understand like evidence-based nutrition. It really wasn't such a big thing back then. So you tend to see a lot of these people, influencers, I guess, even at that time, pushing this diet or that diet. And one that I latched onto was like a raw fruit vegan diet, fruit and vegetables, which really isn't sustainable. I mean, that's the problem with diets in general, is they're not sustainable, because that was just eating fruits and vegetables. And that kind of goes back to when you mentioned the salad, you know, am I going to be eating salad all day? No, you really have to get the legumes into your diet and the whole grains. You know, this raw food vegan, just you're hungry all the time, right? But you start getting some potatoes, sweet potatoes, all the starches, the beans, which are, you know, complete, right? Fat, carbs, and protein. Legumes really fill you up. They've got a ton of fiber in them. They're very filling, and they don't have a ton of calories. They're very low calorie and very cheap to eat and make, and you can make them into yummy things.
Wow, amazing. So how can people, can you tell us a little bit about how can people sign up for the membership, and also what do they get when they join?
Yeah. So basically, I can put a link in the comment if I can figure out how to find it here. Not the best on the tech, but I'll put a link. There's a link to sign up. There's a sales link that I can put in here, and let me do that now while we're talking. If I can find you, there you are. Okay, I'm going to post a comment. There we go. Does that show up? It does show up. Okay, great. So there's a link there to sign up. And so when people sign up, they can choose either a monthly plan or a yearly plan. And with the yearly plan, they'll actually get 2 months free. So that's kind of cool. That's fun. And basically, as I was talking, through every month, what we're going to do is we're going to have a live coaching session. So there's going to be 2 coaching sessions that I'll pick a topic each time, and people can pre-submit questions that they would like to ask me, or they can ask live. Either way, if there's enough time, they can ask live as well. And then I'll have the pre-recorded video content, two items at least of that. And then we have a community.
What's the pre-recorded content? If you can share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'll do stuff around recipes, how to make things different, and I'll talk about why I'm using the ingredients that I use, and what health benefits things have. Because with a lot of food, there's benefits to combining certain foods together. A real easy one that a lot of people already know about is combining citrus with spinach, let's say, to absorb the iron. You know, because citrus actually helps you absorb iron, and spinach is high in iron. So if you put a high iron food with a high citrus or a high vitamin C food, you can absorb a lot more iron. So that's a trick. So stuff like that. We'll talk about stuff like that. There's a lot of things like that. The order and in how you eat your foods. Yeah, just different flavor hacks, how to flavor things in certain ways and change up meals with the same ingredients, and kitchen skills. So one of the things that I do is oil-free cooking. So we'll learn how to do oil-free cooking. That's very easy, and gets out, you know, half the calories about probably when you're to your usual meal. So that's a good thing. And then we have a community. So we'll have a community on a platform where we can all chat, and I can do polls to find out what people would like the video content to be like for the next month or the months coming up. So there'll be a lot of interaction to actually, you know, kind of work together. And what I really kind of see this being is being able to hold people's hands and help them really understand and learn how to do this. You know, have them make progress and, you know, really be able to help themselves.
I love that. And when people are joining, do they need to have any special equipment? If we have a very basic equipment, do we need to buy anything else to stock our, you know, what do we need to start this journey?
That's actually one of the very first videos that talks about kitchen essentials. And I kind of divide it up into what's an essential. what's an essential non-essential. So like those really, like get these first if you're going to get something kind of thing. And then what's kind of luxury, right? Like if you're really into kitchen stuff and want to, the top end stuff, do this. So there's really kind of three buckets. So I'll explain that once we get into the membership. But kind of the main thing you need is really just a cutting board and a knife, to get started. I mean,
There we go.
Yeah, I mean,
We all
of
have
course,
that.
like of course, to make a smoothie or something, you need a blender, right? But do you have to eat a smoothie? No, you just, so it just depends what you want to do.
I love it. So I'm excited. So you get the calls, the coaching calls twice a month, so that you can ask all your questions, right? And you can even ask things specific to your lifestyle and specific to your tastes. Every month you get a training, like video content on how to prepare kitchen skills and things like that. Plus you get the community where at any moment you could share your journey and share what other people are doing in the community. That sounds amazing.
And
So
pictures.
if you and pictures, what does that mean?
I want to see pictures of what people are making.
I see. You can post your pictures.
See what they're making. Yes.
I love it. Awesome. So great. So how long is this going to be open for? When do we need to sign up by?
So you need to sign up by tomorrow at midnight. So this is
tomorrow. This is the last time. Okay.
Get on it.
All right. Get on it. Yes. Join
tomorrow
us.
at midnight. Yes, which in the U.S. is noon. Is noon Eastern time on Thursday. Yeah. Thursday, noon Eastern time in the U.S., but Hong Kong time is tomorrow at midnight, or I'm saying 11:59 because it kind of confuses people if you say midnight, because it's like, is it the next day or not?
So just over 24 hours from now, right, is the sign up.
Exactly.
Go to the link that is where you're watching this video right now to sign up. You can choose the monthly or the yearly. Is that right?
Yes, monthly
or the yearly. Join us on this exciting journey. I will be in there as well. I'm a member as well, proud member. And this will be fun, and I am definitely the last person you will find in a kitchen, just because I don't know what's going on in there, but I'm hoping
this
to
is
change
partly
that.
built for you, Krystal. Like this is like, when you came to me and said like you can't boil water to make an egg, it's like, okay, like we got to do something about
You're
this.
not supposed to tell people that, Michelle. Thanks a lot.
Oh, making them feel comfortable. We got two people on different ends of the spectrum, right? And then that's good. We're all going to meet in the middle. And
I love that. Exactly. And that's the most important thing. This is all for a good reason, right? Good for our bodies, good for the planet, right? Good for each other. And we're going to have fun doing this. And the food is going to be tasty. We're not just going to have salads all the time, right? Which I'm super excited about, actually. So I look forward to it. All right. Well, this was awesome. I learned so much.
Thanks for asking all those
today.
questions. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all.
Thank you.
Inside the membership.
Yeah. Thanks, Krystal. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.